The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program, and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
This should be played at high volume, preferably in a residential area.
I did hear that they were coming through necessary media.
Because it's necessary. Necessary media. Media, because it's necessary.
Yes, yes. Ladies and gentlemen, I am back again, your host and friend Michael DeOliveira, ushering in the necessary era every Wednesday here live on Comcast Channel 95. And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. Put right here, put it right there. Now, ladies and gentlemen, again, I say this every week and I apologize, I really do, but I got to catch up on that. You know what, I'm not going to lie, ladies and gentlemen, I'm liking the lighting in here today. There's sometimes I come in here, I'm not sure what's going on, but today it looks pretty damn near decent. So congratulations to my my interns on the lighting today. It's great, it's working good. Ladies and gentlemen, we got an interesting show today because, I mean, normally what I would do is we had a city council meeting last night, local news, but to be completely honest, there's two things. One, I had issues with my internet, and I'm not too happy about it. And I should also let you know, today I'm feeling a little whatever. So we're going to get through this one. Why? Because it's necessary. So I'm here. But again, to give you a little heads up, we had a city council meeting last night. I'm not going to be able to do too much with it on the show today because, again, I had issues with my internet. So, but if you want to check out some of the posts I'll be doing later on the next couple days, 2 days after I start reviewing some more things, go again. I always tell you, make sure to go to the Facebook page, www.facebook.com/thenecessarymedia. And as always, make sure to go to that YouTube page and subscribe, www.youtube.com/thenecessarymedia. Now, because as I was just saying, I didn't have too much time and availability to do research on the actual city council meeting, what I wanted to get into today is a lot more on a national scale. And I know last time we had the show, I was here live. I wasn't here last week, but before that, when I was here live, we kind of did the same thing. But I think it's pretty much important to get through some of this stuff now because, again, this is the last week before next week's show where election's coming on Tuesday. We're going to have some choices to make. So by the time we come next necessary media, necessary TV, we'll already have, well, maybe we're going to have a victor. But as I'm going to explain later on my prediction, I don't. We might not by the next necessary media. But all right, so as I was saying, I want to get into some national stuff. Now, also, obviously, we're following, this is a big week. Why? Because it's Halloween week. So we had Halloween here in Fall River, all right? So everybody out there watching the show who might not be from Fall River, we had Halloween here in the Riv. And it was, for myself, it was an experience. I'm sure as many people here know, in the Riv, one of the main spots to hit, one of the hot spots, you want to get to what's called the Highlands, right? You want to head up north, and you want to head to the Highlands because everybody would know, well, there's more money up in them dar hills. So when there's more money up in them dar hills, you get a little bit, more candy or bigger candy, etc. So this is the fable that was always told as a kid. So this is the fable that I act on. So I go and I set up to go bring my son. I have a 12-year-old son, and I go to bring my 12-year-old son with my niece, who I believe just turned 4. I'm almost 100% sure on that. So we all go together, and we're going to go ahead to the Highlands. Now, after some issues there, we end up pretty much in the Highlands, less the Highlands and more, if you're familiar with Fall River, I start heading to whoever was guiding us. It was not me. I'm not going to put names out there, but it wasn't me. We started heading toward more the Bedford Street area. Not Bedford Street, but you know what I mean? We're coming this way as opposed to that way. In my opinion, it wasn't going to work out good. I thought we would have had better prospects going north. But what happened was, and I want to just relay this, And if anybody, I do have the number out there, by the way. I want to get into some other things. So if you want to call in, I should just give you some subjects. If you want to get into the national political scene, we're going to get into that. If you want to call in on your support of either presidential candidate, since that's coming up, feel free to call in. If you want to get in on any related topics that have happened this week, if you want to chime in your own topic, feel free to call in, 508-730-3222. So again, so I just want to continue on this little life lesson I kind of taught my niece and my son here is that if you're in like these not so great areas where you're maybe a little bit, I put it this way, the lights in between houses that were actually giving away candy, they were far and in between. So you had to go a couple more houses than you would in other areas. But what you do is, as you keep walking, suddenly you find like another couple kids walking with their parents, and they're coming away from a house that has a light. So now you go there and you move up ahead, you see another group of kids. The lesson learned was if you go out into these areas, you'll soon find a pack. The sooner you can find a pack, the faster you can get with the pack, the faster the candy comes in is what happened. So pretty much in a matter of, I don't know, maybe an hour, we ended up already with like a good, each kid with a full classic actual pillowcase full of candy. So that worked out well. So I was happy with that. What was confusing though to me, I don't know if you remember all the hype leading up to Halloween this year, because this year's Halloween was supposed to be some crazy stuff going on, right? And everybody was talking about the clowns, the killer clowns and all that stuff, right? Now, I don't know about you, but after all that hype, I did not see not one clown. Jake, Kelly, none. Jake says he went out as a clown, but it wasn't in Fall River. Well, then Jake, I don't care. For one, that's probably, I don't know what's the politically correct term to use, but that wasn't very man-like of you, so you avoided Fall River as a clown. So where did you go? All right, so he went to, totally different part of Massachusetts, Jake. He was up toward the woods. It's not the same. You don't want to be in Fall River as a clown. But I didn't see any clowns. So all that hype that happened, I don't know where it went. Now, I know there was a ban on clowns, and I think I talked about that on the show. If I didn't, I did talk about it on the Facebook page, where I thought that was absolutely ridiculous. That should have been a No Flag Zone Award winner if I didn't have time to put it in a show. But I know there was a ban on clowns, so maybe that had something to do with it. I doubt it in Fall River, but I didn't see any. And so connecting with that, there was all these people. There's people who fall for the same type of thing every year, and we had this year the whole purge thing. Now, so the clowns came with it. Again, I didn't see no clowns, and I really didn't fear for my life. In Fall River, folks, I did not fear for my life on Halloween. I was in the area I was in. I was not in the cleanest section I thought I'd be, and I still didn't fear for my life. So here's to you, Fall River, for doing something right. We're gonna get up on one of these lists one of these days. That's another thing. There's another one of those lists going around, the top worst cities, and we're again on the high point of that list. So one of these days, Fall River, if I keep seeing what I'm seeing, we're gonna move our way up. We're gonna get up there, up that ladder, and I think we're on the right path. So we'll see how we go with that. But side subject. So before I get on to some other things political, another Halloween side subject, last Halloween side subject I want to get into. I had a conversation with somebody, and I'm going to put it out there right now. I'm not going to mention no names or nothing because I don't want to this isn't specific about that conversation, but it is about a subject. And again, if you want to chime in on this, please feel free because I must be seeing something wrong here. We got into the conversation now about dressing. Okay, so let me see how to word this correctly. Is dressing as other cultures disrespectful to those cultures, or worse, is it oppressive? Now, the specifics involved had to do with dressing such in the way of a Native American in that light. And the conversation that came from this person, which they have that in their background, and due to a lot of circumstances going on right now, I'm not sure if you're aware with the whole the Standing Rock situation. There's a lot of stuff going on right now with it, and I support all that fully, and I support everybody's right to represent who they are fully. My confusion was when it came to Halloween and specifically dressing up in costume. Maybe it's just me, so again, feel free to chime in if you want to challenge that. I dares you. I double dog dares you. I'd like to hear. I don't understand because to me, in my opinion, Halloween out of all days is not your typical day. We're not talking about the average day where the person just lives life and tries to show who they are. You're talking about Halloween where literally, my opinion was American culture of Halloween is literally a day of amusement. And then greed, like almost all American holidays, is a day of consumption, greed, and amusement. So all we're really trying to do is dress up into anything that you think is amusing or fun, and then consume anything in that which you think is amusing and fun. Now, if you cross the line and you purposely try to do something that's offensive, oppressive, anything in such a light, it's different. But you crossed the line now. If you just dress as a person, I never saw an issue with that, me personally. And again, I had the conversation with somebody and it came out. So with all that, that's my take on it. So everybody out there, again, if you got a different take, hey, listen, let me know. Explain to me what this difference is. I don't see it. There's plenty of cultures out there. I brought up a good example. So again, with this Indian comment, and I'm bringing key points into this conversation. So if this person is listening, and again, I thought it was a respectful conversation. I enjoyed it. And I'm just bringing up some points that I thought they made and I countered with. One of the big points that was made was, say, for instance, with the Native American costumes, you get, like, say, the headdresses or the different types of clothing that might have, they specifically cited, like, certain feathers that would go with it and how that's supposed to represent, like, an actual achievement. There's a purpose behind it. And that when you're wearing, like, such a thing in a Halloween costume, it's disrespectful to that. Now, I brought up the point, well, if you dress as a it shouldn't be looked at that, because, again, you're not from the culture. And my example would be, well, if I dress as a Boy Scout and I wear the sash, is each patch thus disrespectful to what the Boy Scout had to do to earn it? I don't think so. But again, this is my view. So I figured to get that out there because this was all the Halloween topic-wise. This is what happens, ladies and gentlemen. This is what people were talking about. But everything else, I'm with you 100%. We need to get that whole situation going on over there. Somebody needs to step into that, and it ain't going to be your elected officials over there. I don't know if you've noticed that. Everybody, all the Obama supporters, where'd that go? All the Democrat people who thought they were going to help them out. And I don't know if any Republicans made promises, but anybody. My point is, where's the political help? It ain't happening, right? Not new. Speaking of that, now let's get into the fact that let's get to the national news. When I want to go with this. So one of the big things I want to get at when it touches, since we do have elections coming up now, we have the situation where we had for days upon days now in a row, it seems, we had the mainstream media outlets pushing the polls of Hillary Clinton completely just demolishing Donald Trump in this coming election. Landslide numbers, everything was going to be crazy. And everybody, now I'm going to make this keynote. I don't know if I need to do something like asterisks, pay attention or something. I'm going to make this point very clear now, and for the rest of the conversation I have with this. Nothing I say in no way, shape, or form is intended to tell you should go out and vote for Donald Trump at all. I'm going to make that 100% clear. Not anything I say is inclined to go in that direction. What I'm going to tell you is almost everything I say is inclined to say if you're voting for Hillary, period, you can vote for anybody you want or don't vote at all. But if you literally go in there and you're signing Hillary, I personally have an issue only out of the fact that I just don't understand where your logic lies in the fact of if you claim to pay attention, you must be missing a ton of information that's out there. And we've gone over some of it on this show. I post numerous things about it. There's so many media outlets that push it. Mainstream media has no choice but to push it at this point because there's so much news out there. It's just getting ridiculous. So I want to just make that point. I am not telling you go vote for Trump. You not see a bumper sticker on my car. There's no advertising here. All right. This hat is not saying there's no logo. It's not where I'm coming from. But subject aside, manipulating of the polls is what I want to get at now. We have these mainstream media outlets, like I've said on other sources and what I'm going to say now, and I don't know if a lot of you understand who follow some things. There's a lot of people out there who have logical minds, they take in everything, but then there's these others who you want to be a part of it, you want to be a part of the situation, but you just grab onto some other people who feed you some information. You don't actually analyze it. When these people pump at you these polls, you got to understand, a poll and data can be manipulated for whatever outcome they want. So if you have a poll pushed at you, you have to figure out for yourself who's giving you this poll as a source, for one, because they're obviously, if they're giving it to you, it's because they like it, okay? Nobody puts a poll in front of you that disagrees with themselves, that's one. So they're gonna put out a poll that shows what they want. Two, they're gonna get it from a source that has manipulated the poll in a way, more than likely having already an inclination, like there's a thought, they have a side. They might not have the facts for that, they might not intentionally manipulate the poll, but they have a side they're already wavering on, whether that be political interests, economic interests. A lot of these people who are taking polls are paid by someone to create that poll. Do you think the people paid to create a poll want negative feedback? Probably not. So do you think the people paid to create the poll are necessary going to want to give negative, like really strong negative feedback, it's not going to help their economic situation, right? I mean, these are just factors. And why I say that is there's so many polls out there, but you're going to get fed certain ones. So again, we had Hillary Clinton pretty much designated as the landslide winner. Well, lo and behold, after X amount of debates where everybody's focusing on the stupidest things from both sides, let's focus on the dumb stuff, and up until the last debate, which I've mentioned a couple times, shout out to the moderator, that was pretty much the best moderation we had on one of these presidential debates. On the last presidential debate, up until that point, a lot of the facts that were going on were just left out. And now, what I'm specifically getting at is, like, for instance, with the email situation and everything. So we have Trump's, again, not telling you vote for Trump, but everything that's highlighted by Trump was things that could have been done by, say, TMZ. Rightfully so, because he's not a politician, he's a businessman, entertainer. So he was highlighted by TMZ. These are the types of scandals we're catching him in. But on the other side, you have a literal political heavyweight who's been in the political scene and making political maneuvers for eons now, right? So she's been making these moves. So there's legitimate political dirt on her at this point. And it was coming up the whole time, and you just had it being ignored. So now what happens in the polls, ladies and gentlemen? Literally, I heard this last night, but admittedly the poll, let's say it changed a little bit today. Last I heard from an ABC poll, because of all this recent stuff going on now that just came out again with the FBI and Hillary Clinton, we now had the polls start to do a little bit of adjustments. So we had a poll gap of Trump was here. Let me see if I can level this off. So Trump was here and Hillary was here. I believe it was like an 8% point gap. And then what's just going on now, since the FBI files, oh, it would go this way. Since the FBI files went and did this. And now, ladies and gentlemen, literally last I checked, like I said, on an ABC poll, we had Trump up by 1 point. What does that mean? What am I telling you? I'm telling you, there's nothing that's a sure thing in this right now. So anybody who's pushing that you should already look at them like, how is that unbiased, okay? That's one problem, 1 point. But two, it means this is going to be a close situation for a lot of reasons. This is not going to be no landslide victory. And to another point of a couple other things I was watching on that subject, I was going to get into some predictions later on, but I'll get into it now. I might as well just throw it out there. My predictions on this part specifically to predict the presidential election, so mark the tape here, ladies and gentlemen, mark the tape. We're not going to find, this is my prediction, we're not going to find out who won on the assigned night that everybody thinks is going to happen. This is going to be so close. You're going to have, the final result, in my opinion, is going to be Hillary Clinton squeaking. She's going to squeak out through one of these, and then, by whatever percent, let's say two electoral colleges away from it. She's going to squeak through it, but in my opinion, the way this is going to play out, this is going to be another, I think it was Hanging Chad, with the Bush and Al Gore situation. We're looking at exactly that, ladies and gentlemen. So by the time, just the actual way the citizens of this country are voting, it's going to come that close. And so if you have the citizens like that, and you have these two types of personalities clashing, you're not going to find out on election night. This isn't going to be one of those. So stay tuned. Most likely, I was joking to somebody earlier, actually at the beginning of the show, I was joking to you guys, that I think we might find out who won the actual election by the night of this show. So we might not even have an answer by the time I go live next week, because I really don't know how far it's going to go. If you remember back when it was George Bush versus Al Gore for that whole Hanging Chad thing, it dragged out for a little bit. So let's see what happens with that. But I wouldn't hold my breath on an early landslide, that far from it. Now, also, apart to that whole manipulating polls, another situation that came about with this, and again, I mean, the Trump stuff, folks, I don't know what to tell you about this. It's like, again, I'm not telling you vote for Trump, but the Trump stuff is all TMZ scandal. So all I'm going to say is he said something to some girl. He said something to some guy. He took money from some people for a business deal that they didn't like. He got away with a business deal that he shouldn't have. Things along that nature. Like I said, I'm not telling you, Angel. But I don't know why I'm supposed to pay attention to that more than I'm supposed to pay attention to things like this. This is my issue. So again, I'm confused. If you got an answer, clear it up for me. Why do I need to pay attention more to that instead of, for all you other people I've mentioned on the show, an actual No Flex Zone Award winner was the Bernie Sanders supporters after he pretty much got bamboozled by Hillary Clinton, and then just jumped on the bandwagon for support. So it was that week's winner was to the supporters. I got my interns, but my eyesight intern, Brower. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got Jake making his way over. So pardon the interruption, but I have a feeling this is for something decent. So Broward County, Florida, December.
That's what they found out.
Okay. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Now, as I was mentioning before, because again, some of you are going to be maybe just starting to tune into politics. I doubt it. Most of this audience, if you're paying attention, you're around that age where you're my age or a little bit older, maybe some of you, and you were on board with the whole political scene at that time. My age, I was young. I had just caught on to it. That's actually one of the first times I had gotten involved. So I'll do a little side story just quick. The first elections I really got involved was it was the John Kerry situation versus Bush. Because at the time, I had just started getting into politics, and to me, it was all my focus was on everything that we were doing that we shouldn't have been. So all my focus was on Bush and the corruption going on at that time, and I still didn't know fully everything. So I was one-sided. So just to show you right there, so if anybody thinks this is like Republican TV, I got news for you. I was so hardcore against Bush. That was pretty much why I came into politics. And then at the time, though, I only knew so little, so I thought, well, if I'm against Bush and everything going on there, well, then the only choice must be Kerry because, that must be the way to do it. And then all of a sudden, you start to really dig and you start to really pay attention, and then you just realize, oh, wait a minute, hold on, I didn't realize these guys are buddies. This is a whole different story. And then once you learn all that, it's a whole different, like I said, mindset. So lesson learned, I moved on, and now nationally it's a whole different story, which is why I started getting involved locally. I can go complain to my city councilor. All I can do is shake my fist nationally at the TV. So there's a big difference. But anyway, to not get too far, we only have, I think, what do I got? 3 minutes, Jake? 7 minutes. Oh, okay. We got to get a new clock in here, ladies and gentlemen. So anybody who wants to, if there's a clock person out there who wants to give a sponsorship, Clocks RS, we got to get a new clock in here. But okay, so what I wanted to get at is like I said, when I'm being told I need to focus on these TMZ style antics, which they are from Trump, my concern, more importantly, is when I got people who are entwined in politically or in the political scene and the media scene. So for instance, now what just came out, and I don't have the name, like I mentioned earlier, my internet's out, so I don't have the name, so forgive me for that. But if you want to Google it, it'll be easy to find. But for all of you who, the main point is this. During one of the debates we had, when we had the presidential debate, the CNN debate, we had the moderator, again, I forgot her name, she's from CNN. The woman who was doing the moderating, it comes out thanks to WikiLeaks, and WikiLeaks again, shout out to WikiLeaks. That's another part I'm going to say in a minute. People have a problem with that. But I'm going to say shout out to WikiLeaks. WikiLeaks leaked information, emails, showing that this moderator from CNN was getting the questions. She knew that she was going to get certain questions early, and the emails leaked were from her to the Clinton campaign telling them that she was going to be able to provide these emails. Now, ladies and gentlemen, again, for everybody out there who wants to twist this, nothing to do with Trump. This actually should be very annoying to all the Bernie Sanders supporters. That's when this was going on. She was being fed the questions ahead of time so that she could then better obviously be prepared for the question and how to deal with it and how to approach it. So this CNN moderator, on-air personality, whatever you want to call them, she was then called out for it the first time, and then more emails came out from WikiLeaks just further showing she's had more conversations than one email showing her participation with the Clinton campaign. Thus, part of the Clinton machine in helping getting her totally bypass Sanders, which, whether I want to vote for him or not, to be 100% honest, if it was Sanders versus Trump right now you have a landslide. Because whether you like it or not, you're going to have everybody in this country, well, not everybody, but the majority are going to say they want things. So all those promises of giving, they would all went with Sanders. But instead, we got Hillary because of this manipulation. So that CNN person who was challenged by WikiLeaks and the hacks, which I'm going to get into in a second, these hacks, was challenged by these hacks, was then told, after further being questioned from future leaks, she was finally released by CNN. Jake, are you giving me the name? That is fantastic. I figured you'd be that. Thank you very much, Jake. Is it Brazil or Brazil? Brazil. Okay. Donna Brazil. That's exactly, okay, 100%. See, Jake's on top of his game. We had the lighting today is perfect. Outstanding day from the interns today, ladies and gentlemen. So again, Donna Brazil, and she was, again, the CNN political on-air personality, whatever, pundit, political pundit. She was also, exactly, okay, so also the head of the Democratic Party, period? What do you, really? Jake, seriously? The top. All right. Huh? Oh, okay, yep, all right, 100%, okay, I understand, exactly. So now, again, as I was saying, so CNN eventually had her now taken away because so much came out. But up until that point, it was denied. And my issue specifically that comes with something like this is when we have a source such as WikiLeaks putting this information out, okay? And she was confronted by a reporter about this question. And this is where I'm getting at, my frustration. When what I'm about to explain, when she's confronted with a question that, hey, WikiLeaks came out with some information about you. What about this? What does this mean? That you were leaking questions to the Hilary camp. When that question's put at her, and when it's put to other people, what they do is they focus on the fact that this information came about from a hack. And as soon as they're asked the question, they're like, well, what happened was my email was hacked by what believed to be Russia or a foreign entity. And they go on this tangent about how the information was gathered. The frustrating part I have with this is, and no one seems to just double down on it right away for them, why are we not talking about the actual information that was gained? So we're told you gave these questions to the actual person, but you want to highlight the fact that this information was gained through hacks. Aha! Perfect. Hey, yo, Jake. I can't even, Jake, I'm not kidding. I don't know. You're on the ball today. 100%, ladies and gentlemen. There we have her. Donna Brazil out at CNN amid leaks of the Clinton campaign. So right there, and that was perfect. Thank you very much for that, Jake. That was outstanding. I don't even know if I don't got a gold star, but that's a gold star achievement. Achievement unlocked for all the Xbox players. So right there, perfect. And she would have got she was almost going to get my No Flex Zone award, but someone beat it. Where are we going with this? Donna Brazil, the acting chairwoman of the Democratic National Committee, resigns from her role as a CNN contributor early this month. See, so ladies and gentlemen, my issue is how do we not have an issue in general that that's who she is, but she's the CNN contributor, and she's supposed to give you honest and unbiased information? Come on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get to the No Flex Zone Award of the Week.
No flex zone. No flex zone. They know better. They know better.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, you are in the No Flex Zone. The No Flex Zone is a zone where you do not belong flexing. And by flexing, I mean doing anything you're not supposed to be doing in a place you're not supposed to be doing it. And this week's winner almost was her. Almost. It was going to be. But today, somebody just snuck out and beat it. I'm not going to say where, but today I had to go do some shopping a little bit real quick, and the place that I frequently go, and a gentleman starts walking toward us, me and a friend of mine who were there, starts walking toward us, and the first question out of his mouth, take a guess. And can I help, like any information? No. Got any money? It was not. Hey, it wasn't a story. Hey, I need a bus. I need food. I need anything. You got some change. It was none of this. He looked like somebody who just completely didn't care about a damn. And I'm going to also preface this because I hate how I have to do this, but I'll preface it. Under normal circumstances, I contribute all the time. I know I constantly am giving dollars and change to whenever I have it, to anything. Never mind just those boots. When people come out with the boots, the ones that people like to do. I give it to the random weirdos who come up to me and give me some story. Sometimes I still give them change, that's fine. But I never in my life had a person literally just come up to me and go, got money? I was like, yeah, I got money. I didn't tell him that, but yeah, I got money. I had loose dollars. I got money, but not getting them today, folks. Not like that. That is flexing in a no flex zone. That's not going to happen. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be the show for today. Thank you for coming out. Come back next week. Come back every week, every Wednesday live, 6 to 6:30. Peace.